We have a total solar eclipse, which is happening on April 8th. It's the first one, I believe, in 7 or 8 years, and NASA is doing a lot to celebrate this wonder of nature. And I thought it would be a good idea for us here at Third Rock to get an expert on to talk to us, to kind of walk us through what's going to be happening on that big day. She is Dr. Kelly Korreck. Doctor, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for joining us. First up, you are and I hope I'm saying this correctly, a heliophysicist. What exactly does that entail?
Yes, I am. I am a heliophysicist, and that means that I study the sun, our closest star, and all the activity that goes on from that star and how it affects life here on Earth.
Okay, now with the total solar eclipse, first of all, did I get that correct? Has it been 7 or 8 years since we've had one of these?
It's been 7 or 8 years since the U.S. has seen a total solar eclipse.
Okay.
There's somewhere on the Earth around every 18 months we get a total solar eclipse, but most of the Earth is water, so it ends up being in kind of remote locations.
So it's not a big deal, but this is somewhat of a big deal because so many people can see it.
Definitely.
Okay, so is it an eclipse as simple as the moon blocks the sun, and it blocks the path of the sun getting to Earth? Is that the best way to explain what an eclipse is?
That is the best way to explain it, is that it happens to be when the moon and the sun align just so, and they happen to be the right distance apart and the right size for the moon to completely cover the face of the sun. So you're able to see the wispy atmosphere of the sun, or the sun's corona.
Okay, and what makes this total solar eclipse significant? Because it is a complete blockage? Is that safe to say, or?
It is very important that it's a complete blockage, because that's the only way you can actually see that corona. It's a million times lighter than the sun itself, so it's hard to see, or dimmer than the sun itself. So it's you can't see it on a regular day. So you need the moon to actually block it out.
Okay, so say I'm living under a rock and I have no idea that the eclipse is coming, and I walk outside. What is it going to be shocking? Is it going to be darker? Is it going to freak me out? What am I going to see?
It's definitely a full body experience. And it will, I think, at one point in time, kind of freak you out. So if you're in the path of totality, you'll start to notice, at first, not much, when the moon just moves across the sun and it starts to take like a little bit out of it. But soon you'll start to see the light get different. And that's, I think, when my brain at least kind of goes, something's wrong here. The sun doesn't look right. The shadows look sharper, and things look a little weird. And as you keep going, you might see through like tree branches or other like pinholes that you'll see the sun with a little chunk cut out of it by the moon. So you'll definitely start to feel it also get a little cooler. The winds will change. And so again, you're kind of sensing this with your whole body, not just your eyes. And then with your safety glasses, because except in totality, we always wear our safety glasses or indirectly view the sun. You'll start to see the Bailey's beads. So these beads are the actual craters on the moon, letting the last bits of sunlight through to the Earth. And then once those Bailey beads and that diamond ring, the last Bailey bead is gone, you're able to take off your glasses and see the beautiful corona. And it really is awe-inspiring. It'll be dark at that point in time. You'll be able to see any planets or stars in the background. You'll see basically dusk all around the horizon and then a dark sky. So it is a really interesting full body experience where you'll feel things, you'll hear things. The animals will come out, crickets will come out, or roosters will crow afterwards, thinking that it's morning again. So it really is a full body experience.
Wow, so it's not like when it's a cloudy day. It's going to be a lot more intense than that, you would think.
It'll be a lot more intense than that. So yes, you'll definitely notice differences. Animals notice differences as well. So if you're in near wildlife, you'll see them acting differently as well.
Wow, I think like I said, if I was just coming out, I may just be like, I think I'm going to go back to bed because this is kind of scaring me a little bit. But no, well, you touched on it, and I wanted to ask about the safest and best way to view an eclipse. It obviously is with protective eyewear, but is there other ways if people can't get protective eyewear, what do you recommend that people do to enjoy the eclipse?
Definitely. So this is a do-it-yourself moment as well as those glasses. And so they're not sunglasses, they are darker certified glasses. But if you don't have those, you can use your hands and create pinholes by weaving your hands together and just allowing a little light there. You always have the sun to your back, and then that allows the sunlight to go through your fingers and project onto the ground the eclipsed sun or many little eclipsed suns. You could use a kitchen strainer the same way with your back to the sun, the strainer held out to the side, and then it projects the images on the ground. You can make using some type of box, a cereal box or whatever box you have laying around, a pinhole projector. So again, the sun comes through a little hole and enables you to look inside to actually view the eclipse that way. So there's instructions online as to how to do that. So there's many ways that you don't need the glasses.
Okay, well, she is Dr. Kelly Korreck, and she is a heliophysicist with NASA. And the sun is kind of, I mean, your thing. You've worked on the Parker Solar Probe, which, of course, studies the sun. You've helped build equipment to study the sun. You've traveled all over the world to learn more about the sun. I guess my question is, why the sun for you? What got you so interested?
So what got me so interested is that it is a great plasma laboratory. So the geek in me loves all the physics you can learn about it, but it's so close by and it affects our everyday life, from the fact that, we get its energy and it creates food on this earth, to the fact that the space weather and the interactions with our technology, it really affects how our satellites work, how our GPS works, and so this was just a perfect marriage of all of the cool science plus something that's so relevant and applicable to our everyday life.
Very, very cool. Well, what do you think is next for us in terms of studying the sun? The Parker Solar Probe has made great strides. Do you have anything up your sleeve, if you will, that you think we're going to be doing with the sun in the future?
So I am so excited that we're having this eclipse during a solar maximum. So the sun goes through this cycle of being not very active and then being very active. So we're seeing this very active time. And so I think that during this time, we're going to be able to see a lot more about the sun's activity and understand that space weather and those causes of space weather and how it affects all of our satellites, all of our power grids and things like that. More and more over the next year or so. So I think that to me is the next interesting thing to study the data that comes from this time period.
All right, very awesome. Well, again, the total solar eclipse is happening on April 8th, and if you need details on like she mentioned, how you can see it, you can always go to nasa.gov. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us today here on Third Rock, and we'll be watching on the 8th.
My pleasure.